Okay, internet, y'all will not let me get this video together, right, y'all? You don't want me to complete my what if video because every time I turn around, there's some new crap, some new drama in the comic book scape. Okay, so I'll try to make this quick. Uh, Marvel Tokon something something. I can't remember the name of the full game. The fighting game that was announced from Marvel. They dropped a trailer with the newest character, and that character being Black Panther, the Shuri version of Black Panther, and understandably so. The internet went a bit crazy because they chose Shuri instead of T'Challa for the game, and look, I just wanted to say my 2 cents on here because I was looking at Twitter and everything and seeing all this back and forth, and I'm gonna be real. I think I have not made like a dedicated video. I keep saying it, and I've brought this topic up before. It's again, it's a touchy topic, and I always try to say my piece more or less when it comes up. So as far as T'Challa fans being mad about this, like I said, I understand it, and to be honest, I'm a little agitated by it myself because and let's preface it by saying this: a lot of the people online, the people who fight the T'Challa fans, their argument is that T'Challa fans don't like seeing Shuri, or they don't like Shuri, or this, that, and the other, yada yada yada, or the classic, oh, it's a mantle, mantles passed to other people, yeah. No, um, yeah, no, that those are both kind of bad arguments. For one thing, uh, I think I can speak for a lot of us T'Challa fans when we say we don't have a problem with Shuri. I don't think we ever had a problem with Shuri. It really boils down to the fact that everything goes back to the MCU. Everything goes back to Wakanda Forever. Um, and the fact that Marvel or the MCU handled that terribly. And, I don't know, I'm going to sound like an asshole when I say this, but I gotta tell it how I believe it was done. Like when they made that movie, I feel like they didn't care about T'Challa's character. I feel like they didn't care about the Black Panther character per se. Honestly, when you look at the movie, they wanted to frame it as a tribute in a way. And while you could say it was, I mean, you could say it was, and I very much so believe Coogler and the cast probably intended on it being that. Um, the greater Marvel engine, the MCU engine, Disney, whatever you want to say, it really kind of seemed like, I don't want to call it like a flat out cash grab, but that's kind of the feel you get from it because they had done an amazing like tribute right after what happened, and it was like with all the actors and everything, talking about them and everything. So that was good. I don't think they didn't need to go back and do it again in the movies, but that's neither here nor there. That's an argument for another video. My point is this: ever since Wakanda Forever, they have kind of systematically been just swapping T'Challa out here and there in different properties. I mean, obviously in the movie, and then then you have which was really egregious, X-Men '97, in which Black Panther was in X-Men '97 briefly as a cameo, but we found out that was T'Chaka. That was like a blatant slap in the face because anybody who was watching the '90s series back then know that T'Challa was in fact the Black Panther because he was in the Fantastic Four cartoon, the very same Fantastic Four group that showed up in Spider-Man in a crossover episode So therefore, that means that the T'Challa that they met, ergo, is in that universe because if they cross over with the 90s series Spider-Man, who has also crossed over with the 90s series X-Men, and the 90s Iron Man, and the 90s, well, Hulk never showed up on there, but you get my point. All these characters kind of were in the same universe. And so to just blatantly just say, oh no, this it's T'Chaka. That's T'Chaka. No, it wasn't. And that it's a clear example of them replacing T'Challa. And so you look at it and you say, okay, because the argument, a lot of the arguments I see online is, well, T'Challa's in all these games. He's in Rivals. He's in Cosmic Invasion. He's been in all these Marvel games over the years. And it's like, yeah, I mean, he has, but you got to understand also you have to acknowledge like there's this weird background effort to seemingly take T'Challa out of the conversation. I mean, again, you had the cartoon, again, the movies, and then you have the new. Now, I'll give him a little leeway on the fact that the Marvel game, there's the Marvel 1940 whatever game with him and Captain America. That's T'Challa's grandfather, and obviously that makes sense because T'Challa wasn't around in the 40s. I'll give him a little bit of leeway on that, but then you can only give him so much leeway with that because there was a AAA Black Panther game in the works, and it just got canceled. We don't know anything about it. Really, there were rumors that you were gonna create a character, and he or she was gonna be the Black Panther. I think I remember reading that one time, but that was never solid. And to be honest with you, that probably that wouldn't have been a good idea. But again, just the fact that that rumor was floating around, and if that was a possibility, then that still goes toward the whole thing about why are you trying to eliminate T'Challa. So we get back to Marvel Token, whatever. And you like, okay, they chose to put Shuri in here, and I just got to question it because you chose Black Panther to swap out. Um, Again, no offense to Shuri, but if you're gonna if we're talking about like character swaps, um, other characters who have worn that who have carried the name, I will argue that, and this is something that I've seen going around too, because people, and the only reason I'm bringing this up is because people have brought it up online. But you talk about Miles. If that's the case, then heck, why not replace? Why not have Miles be there in the game instead of Peter? Because he is more popular than Shuri. Sorry, he is. So why not replace Peter, right? But they're not gonna do that. Well, why not replace Steve with Bucky? How about that? No, no, because you want to have Steve in the game. Okay, well that's fine. Why not replace Hulk with Jennifer? No, because you want to have Hulk in the game. Now they did choose to replace Ghost Rider with Robbie, which has been a thing for years now. And to be honest with you, it doesn't really help the argument that these people have when they try to say that they're not trying to get rid of T'Challa, because I don't know if y'all know, a lot of y'all know, but Johnny Cage is Ghost Rider, not Johnny Cage. Oh, I can't get his name out right now. Is it Cage? No, I'm thinking about Mortal Kombat, but Johnny Blaze. There we go. The Mortal Kombat trailer. I watched it recently, so I'm thinking I got Johnny Cage on my mind. But yeah, Johnny Blaze was the original Ghost Rider. But all you see is Robbie Reyes now, and so it's really one of those things where it's like, why don't we see the original Ghost Rider anymore? Can we talk about that? Because that's kind of concerning, but they're not gonna bring that up, and that's why I say you can't say that. Oh, there's no agenda against T'Challa. They're not trying to get rid of T'Challa. Shut up. And it's like, okay. One time in the movies, y'all use the excuse of they don't want to recast so soon, whatever. Okay, but okay. Oh wait, hold on. Then they did it in X-Men '97. It's like, what's your excuse there? Because That's blatant because T'Challa was clearly Black Panther in those cartoons in that universe. No answer for that. Okay, all right. Okay. And then the other game, like I said, that's based in the past. Okay, well, why couldn't you just do a game that was based in the present then? It's like they're trying to dodge T'Challa any way they can, and I don't know why. And then he doesn't. Last I checked, he does not have an ongoing comic run, so he's just kind of appearing in Avengers. Why is that? Why? And the past two runs he's had, I believe, have been kind of not counting the Ultimate run. The past two runs he has had have been questionable because I think the most recent one he was like ousted from Wakanda or whatever. He due to some BS that was going on. And then before that, let's not forget the infamous run where Gambit and Rogue kicked his ass, and then Captain America beat his ass, and then no lie, basically told him to go back to Africa. Yeah, Marvel, what's going on? Like, what is your beef? And at this point, Marvel has a beef with like it's this clear they have a beef with like a handful of characters, and I don't know why, but particularly, and for me, it hits close to home because my two favorite Marvel characters are Spider-Man and Black Panther, and they have been mistreating the heck out of both of those characters for some years now, and I don't understand why. Because it's like, what's your beef with these two characters in particular? Um, like Spider-Man is your flagship character, and we know how you're treating him. And then you got Black Panther. He's not a flagship character per se, but I mean, if he's not the flagship character, why are you picking on him anyway? Like, why of all people you could pick on, why are you picking on Black Panther? Like, you got other characters you can mess with. Why are you picking on Black Panther? Who's such an important, and maybe that he is such an important character. T'Challa is such an important character to a lot of people. Particularly black little boys and black young men and everything because of what he represents. So why are you all kind of like phasing him out or trying to get rid of the character? And before the people get into the comment sections, whoever may say this, well, actually T'Challa is still around in the MCU because T'Challa Jr. Shut up. T'Challa Jr. is not T'Challa. I don't know why y'all take this freaking gimme as like, here you go. This just to appease the people who want T'Challa back. No. Damn it, no. T'Challa Jr. is not T'Challa. And it really kind of gets me how people get online and they talk about the people who want T'Challa back like they got horns, and it's like, why? It's why? Because we want the character back because y'all wrongly started phasing him out. Why? And it's always the same argument. Well, if that's the case, then take Batman out of the equation. Let's get rid of Bruce Wayne. Let's get rid of Clark Kent. Or which the opposite side of the group who are the Spider-Man fans who can't stand Miles Morales because they think ironically that they're trying to replace Peter Parker with him, when honestly they've just been working alongside each other for some years now. But they hate Miles' very existence. At the very least, when it comes to Shuri, it's not that T'Challa fans have a problem with her existence. They just have a problem with the pretty much blatant, obvious, like pretty much disappearing act that they're doing with T'Challa. Essentially, it's like no one said they don't like Shuri. It's just that why like you chose Shuri for this game. Why? Now, again, T'Challa might show up in the game. Yeah. Technically speaking, these games are made by Arxis, so they tend to have some type of semblance of a story. There may be a story reason why T'Challa's not there. And then we'll find out when the game comes out, whatever. But anytime you choose to make T'Challa and that's if they even do this, but you choose to make T'Challa the DLC character, then some questions need to be asked. And that's pretty much all that's really all I can say in terms of that. But again, why not? If that's the case, then you could just start replacing a lot of characters. Replace Steve Rogers, replace Thor, replace Hulk, replace Daredevil, whatever. Replace Iron Fist, whatever. You get my point. Like, you can't kind of selectively say, well, this character needs more time in on screen or whatever, and then kind of bitch about other characters getting more time. Like, again, if this had been Miles, I guarantee you, the uproar would have been probably worse, and it would have been more toxic than what they are claiming the T'Challa fans are doing now, because T'Challa fans are just fed up with them just getting rid of their character. Which, again, let me reiterate, Miles is not replacing Peter Parker. They are coexisting, but they are there. You don't see this phasing out of Peter Parker and stuff. Peter Parker is very much so prevalent still. He has a movie coming out this summer. So it's not the same situation at all. They are phasing T'Challa out, and I don't know why it takes a rocket scientist apparently to understand that. Like, just pay attention, open your eyes. But again, I don't like to. I'm agitated that I've had to drop like 2 rant videos back to back when I'm trying to work on something else. But anytime something like this just gets to circulating around online, and I'm seeing it everywhere I look, or every time I log on to social media, and I'm just seeing these arguments going on back and forth, and then I get ready to type, and I'm like, I can't really type everything I have to say in these characters, and I'm not about to pay for Twitter or anything like that. So it's like, okay, time to go back and make another video. So that's just my 2 cents. I might post this video on my Twitter and put it out there in the space for people to see, and inevitably have people cuss me out and say I'm sexist for arguing on behalf of T'Challa. You know how that goes. But yeah, that's my piece. So again, to sum it up, I have no problem with Shuri, but they need to stop eliminating T'Challa. So hit that like button, drop a comment to let me know what you thought. Do you agree with me? Do you have a problem with what I said? Drop it below. Hit that subscribe button for more, and remember, we have the high ground. Catch you later.